Thank you, thank you, thank you. Boy, it is good to be here. I tell you what, it is always good to be with some patriotic, Bible-believing, God-fearing Americans. Or as Joe Biden calls you, threats to our democracy. Hey, I tell you what, let me just get my confessions in right up front here. I'm proud to be here as a conservative, but much more important than that, I am proud to be here as a follower of Jesus Christ. I am not ashamed of the gospel. It is the power of God unto salvation to all who believe. And I just say this to our friends on the left who are constantly telling us that faith and politics have to be separated, that we as Christians are supposed to keep our beliefs and our faith and our expression inside the church walls. I just say, no way, no how, not in the United States of America. There is not 1 square inch of all creation over which Jesus Christ is not Lord. And there is not 1 square inch of this country or the problems we face that the Bible does not have something to say about. And it is time for Christians to be bold again and to take the lead again. Listen, you know, in every hour of this country's danger, in every moment of trying, Christians have risen to help lead this country and to help lead the way. We did it in the First Great Awakening that helped move this country toward revolution and independence. We did it in the abolitionist movement that fought for decades to eliminate the scourge of slavery. And you know, this month when we have a federal holiday where we recognize the abolition of slavery in this country, can I just tell a truth here again that the left finds hard to believe? Here it is. Christianity is the faith and America is the place that slavery came to die. And we should be proud of that. Christians were the ones. It was Christians who led the evangelical reform movement in the last century that protected the family by ending child labor in this country, by limiting the working hours for men in the factories to protect them so they could come home to their families, so they get the Sabbath day off and be able to worship the Lord. No, at every moment, at every time, Christians have risen to lead, and now it's time again. Because we are facing the greatest challenge this country's ever seen, certainly in my lifetime. You know, President Reagan told a group of evangelicals 40 years ago this year that the focus of evil in his day was Soviet Marxism. Well, now we face a new Marxism that is rising in this country, a cultural Marxism that has infected our universities. It has taken over much of the media, the entertainment industry, and it now totally controls the Democrat Party. A new Marxism that wants to see our history completely disparaged, that tells us America is systemically racist, systemically bigoted, that the soul of America is somehow warped. This is a Marxism that says that there's no such thing as male and female, that there's not 2 genders, there's 2,000 genders, and it tells our children that the way God made them is wrong. Yeah, this is a new Marxism that is the greatest challenge that we face, and it has infected even our corporations. And I'll just tell you this, you know, the left, they're always saying separation of church and state, separation of church and state. But here's the deal. These new Marxists want to give America a new religion. They want to impose on us the religion of woke. It is the religion of transgenderism, critical race theory, and open borders multiculturalism. And they are shoving it down our throats. The leftist elites have proclaimed themselves as the priests of this new religion. They're the high priests. Here's the problem. The country doesn't agree with them. They're wrong, we're right. It's easy. And the question of our time is, who's going to lead this country? Who's going to run this country? Is it going to be we the people? Or is it going to be the new priests of wokery? That's the question we face. And now in this time of challenge and trial, we need Christians to rise to lead. And just think of the onslaught of these new Marxists, of these new priests of woe. Look what they're doing at Target, trying to force on us and on our children this gender ideology, this transgender ideology. Look what they're doing at Bud Light, you know, a company that tells every red-blooded, blue-collar working man in this country that he needs to be re-educated? I mean, really, look what Big Pharma is doing. Big Pharma, let's tell the truth, Big Pharma is making millions, if not billions of dollars on chemical abortion drugs that kill our children in the womb. They're profiting off of it big time. Those same companies are making money hand over fist doing what? Making drugs that sterilize our children, telling them that they shouldn't be the gender that God made them to be. Now, I tell you what, all across this country, we see these corporations pushing relentlessly this Marxist agenda, pushing relentlessly this religion of woke. And you know, some Republicans I've heard recently, some Republicans have said, oh, but I don't like culture wars. I don't want to have to engage in a culture war. And they also say, oh, but don't criticize corporate America. We mustn't do that. I just say to those people, listen, we may not have started this culture war, but we're going to win it. We are going to win it. And as for corporate America and criticizing them, let's get one thing straight. Corporations are not people. And there is no reason why corporate America should control this country. I've got news for these corporations, these woke corporations. We are not going to surrender this nation to the cultural Marxists in the C-suite. No way, no how. These are the people, let's not forget, these are the people sitting in the C-suite who have for decades now shipped our jobs overseas. They are happy to sell out American workers to go make a quick buck in China. These are the people who are happy to pay slave wages in China and other nations, and they won't pay American workers a fair wage. They take our jobs away, they decimate our communities, and then they lecture us about social justice. These are the people who are out there pushing this woke ideology, forcing it down our throats at every turn, and now they want to make us, they want to reduce us to mere consumers. Their message to us, all of them, the Targets and the Bud Lights and the Coca-Colas, their message to us is just shut up and buy the stuff that we tell you to buy. Well, I tell you what, here's my response. As the Apostle Paul said, I will not be subject again to a yoke of slavery. So no thank you. This country belongs to us, not to the corporations, and I don't know about you, but it's time to get those corporations, the woke corporations, out of politics. Enough! Enough! Get them out! And their money, get it out of politics. Why should those corporations, why should the C-suite and all of these woke executives, why should they and their money count more than your vote? Why should they be able to control this country rather than we the people? Why should they be the ones who set the agenda while they try to debase our culture and serve their God that is money? No, thank you. No, we need to stand up again for the right of the people to run this country, for the right of the people to be in charge. And Christians have to lead this movement. You know, Christians, we believe. Why did the United States of America embrace the liberty of the individual? You and I know why. It's because Jesus Christ went to a cross to pay for the sins of every individual. It's because we know the dignity of every individual because we believe in a God who created every individual with worth. That's why we fight for the lives of the innocent unborn. That's why we fight for those who are not heard, and that's why we believe in democracy, because we the people have the right to rule, because we the people have rights given to us not by government, not by corporations, not by the liberal elite, but given to us by God, and we will not surrender those rights. We will reclaim them for our day. That's the task in front of us. That's the task in front of us. And so now we need Christians again to rise up and take the lead. Listen, let me just be really clear on this for those in Washington who don't get it. Let me say it really plainly. There is no future for the conservative movement without Christians. And I just say to all of those DC consultants who just can't stand to talk about evangelicals and who cringe every time you mention the right to life and who hate all of this talk about defending our culture. There is no future for the Republican Party without Christians. Get it into your heads. It was Christians who stood up to put Ronald Reagan in the White House in 1980, yes. It was Christians who put Donald Trump in the White House, and it is Christians who will lead this movement forward. And the reason for that is simple. It's because the Christian faith is what has formed the soul of this nation. You know, Abraham Lincoln called it our ancient faith. It was the faith that united this country, the faith that you see written into the Declaration of Independence, that we have our rights, inalienable, can't be taken away from us, inalienable by a creator God. That is what has united this country. It is what has shaped the soul of this country. It remains the hope and inspiration of the working men and women of this country even now. And so as the left attacks our faith, as they attack the Bible, as they attack the influence of Christianity in our nation, we know that the time is now for Christians to rise, to defend and recover the ancient faith that has made us who we are. And as we do that, we will protect the future, we will protect this nation, and we will lead the conservative movement to a new day. God bless you. Thank you so much for having me. And God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much.